Welcome aboard Just Jets with your captain, Matt O'Leary. Buckle up and enjoy the ride.
Oh, baby. Hello and welcome to Just Jets. We have a doozy of an episode here for episode number 125. We have to talk about the Zach Wilson drama from yesterday. What a wild day. What a wild story. What else are we getting into today? We have something else. The Jimmy Garoppolo link, which is bizarre. And of course, your voicemails. We'll get into those too. Don't you worry. Well, it's a little bit of a quick turnaround because we had an episode on Thursday last week. It's only Monday now. So again, a quick turnaround. We're going to be back on our groove. We're going to eventually move to Wednesdays when the season starts, but rocking and rolling. Before we get started today, you guys know the drill. Hey, you. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Do you have bush? You definitely do if you haven't trimmed the best, or if you haven't tried the best products from our sponsor today, Manscaped. Take control of your body. It's important, especially with the bush. These products are so good, you're going to be showing pride in your new bush-free yard. There you go. Love that for the summer. It's a fact that you will have the best kept nutsack on the cul-de-sac. Ooh, love that. Save big and be the most hygienic version of yourself by using our discount code JETS20. That is JETS20 for 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. Get yourself something nice. Get yourself the Lawnmower 4.0. It's my favorite. I use it all the time. Let's hop into today's episode. We have a lot to get into, starting with the drama. Oh, the drama. And yesterday was a fun day on Twitter. I can't wait to Jets Twitter has fun on game days, like a huge win or something like that. And we just get, this massive rallying point. You almost got it a little bit last year against Tennessee and on the draft and stuff. It really works up. But yesterday was a lot of fun, especially when you consider that it was a Sunday in early July. This isn't a training camp storyline that we're getting into. This isn't some there's nothing to describe this story that we're about to get into today. It's a little page 60. And I know that you had wet blankets Bob Wischusen, who does a phenomenal job calling the Jets games. I love Bob as a broadcaster. I really do. Did a good job calling hockey as well. Was basically tweeting I only care if Zach Wilson's a good quarterback. I don't care how he did. It was a fun Twitter day. It was a funny story. If we're at a point now in our lives, in our fandom and whatever, where we can't find the humor in this story, then I don't want to do what I do anymore. And that's not the case. So I'm going to talk about the story. We're going to laugh. We're going to have a fun time with it. So late Saturday into Sunday, there was news breaking that Zach Wilson's ex-girlfriend is dating Milne, a former teammate and best friend. Dax Milne, right? Milne. Former teammate at BYU, really close friends. They were roommates, if I'm not mistaken. They posted I was tagged on Instagram. People were going nuts for this. I was tagged in one of Dax's Instagram posts where he was talking about that he was a roommate with Zach Wilson, which is kind of funny. But anyway, so apparently now, obviously we know that Zach and his ex are no longer together. They broke up right after the season. Zach's been single. He's been enjoying single life, which is fine. More on that in a little bit here. So Dax and the ex-girlfriend are now together. They went IG official, which if you know anything about anything, you know that once it's IG official, that means it's legit. Well, people started putting the pieces together and say, hey, wait a minute. You were Zach's girlfriend, and now you're dating Dax. By the way, Dax and Zach are just two names that you just picture being at BYU. That just makes so much sense. But put that in your back pocket for a second. So Dax and Zach are assumably now Eskimo bros, which happens. But someone on Instagram, because people are going to talk smack, you know the thing. If you're online, comments that she's a homie hopper. So then Zach's ex chimes in and says that Zach slept with his mom's best friend. So Zach, it's ridiculous. So Zach apparently hooked up with his mother's friend. And she's talking about who's a homie hopper. That's a real homie hopper. What a wild story. And the memes were just phenomenal. I mean, I had one with, I photoshopped his face on the Graduates movie poster. We had so many people, everyone was getting their jokes in. People were going back and finding tweets from Zach Wilson of Cougar Nation. Mekhi Becton chimed in and saying, that's my quarterback. He had the Terrell Owens, that's my quarterback gif going. Chad Ochocinco, Chad Johnson, whatever he's calling himself nowadays, he was all in calling Zach Wilson a legend. DK Metcalf loved it. He was chiming in. It went viral in the NFL world. So that was our fun yesterday. Is it a silly story? Of course it's a silly story. It's not a football story, but it's a funny story about our football team. So I'm talking about it. And and also on top of this, it's July. It's been dead for so long. We are begging for any kind of New York Jets content. So the fact that we are able to talk about this crazy story that just comes out on IG. Is it a little Kardashian-esque where we're getting into some of the drama and TMZ-esque? Yeah, it is a little bit. But that's it. That's all that's going on right now. There is no football. It's going through and seeing what's the biggest storyline of the day online about this New York Jets team. And like I do before every single episode that I record of Just Jets, I go on Twitter, see, hey, what are the people talking about? Or before I record any video, I am like, hey, what's the biggest storyline from the day or the day before? What do I want to get into? What I want to talk about? If you were online yesterday, this is the biggest story. That's it. We got to talk about it. So first of all, few takes. Number one, Dak's bad friend. That's a bad move on his part. Don't like that. If Zach allegedly did have relations with the mom's friend, if she's single, as long as he's not a homewrecker, phenomenal. I'm for it. Whatever you want to do. They're both of age of consent. They're two adults. Fine. No issue there. If everyone's cool with it, I don't know. The Mormons are on their own rules. I don't try to get involved in any of that. Just what a bizarre, weird story that we get on a Sunday on July 10th, early July. You got to love it. You got to love it. Now, some people are claiming that the Zach story with the mom's friend is false. Maybe it is. I don't know. No one knows, but this was the story that was trending yesterday. We had to talk about it. Comments on it. Zach's single now. He could do whatever he wants. If they're two consenting adults, doesn't matter. And a little bit of a scummy move on the friend's part. If you're, former BFFs, they apparently no longer follow each other on Twitter or social media. So perhaps a little falling out, which is unfortunate. So we will do some football, though. I want to talk about, we only have a couple of questions of voicemails today. So I wanted to do another second topic here. And it was a weird link that the New York Jets were linked to this player for a midseason trade acquisition. And that player, it's not a linebacker, it's not a safety, it's not a corner, it's not anyone on defense. It's a quarterback. And a decently big to name quarterback. I'm not saying he's a good quarterback, but he's a name. Everyone knows him. And that's Jimmy Garoppolo. Bleacher Report did an article where they were predicting midseason trades. And this one was Jimmy Garoppolo to the Jets. Why? For what reason? And the reasoning behind it was if the Jets get into October and Zach Wilson's still struggling, maybe they have to bring in, someone who could be a bridge guy. I'm not giving up a draft asset for Jimmy Garoppolo. What's the point there? He's an okay quarterback. Is he good? I wouldn't go that far. Is he bad? No. He's okay. You get to the playoffs with him. Are you going to win a Super Bowl? I don't know. You have to have a near picture perfect roster. And sure, yes, there's the San Francisco Lynx. I understand Robert Saleh, LaFleur. They were all there. Why not? Well, if Zach Wilson really is struggling, I would think that you just ride him out, and A, he either turns it around and you keep running it back with him, or B, if they really bottom out, then you're probably in prime position to draft a quarterback in 2023 when supposedly the quarterback class is supposed to be good. I don't think it's going to get to that point. I'm just saying, if that were to happen, would you rather give up a draft asset for a very limited quarterback or bottom out with a young quarterback who you know isn't the future, kind of like in 2020 with Sam Darnold, and then you get your guy the next year? That, I think, would make a whole hell of a lot more sense than giving up a draft asset for Jimmy G. For what? Why? What good is that? Jimmy G is going to get traded to a team that either has an injury at the quarterback position or a team that's like at least semi-competitive at the deadline, right? Because if this is what the Bleacher Report article is predicting, and let's say the Jets start 0-7, I don't think they're going to. I don't. But if they did, why, at that point, why are you giving up a draft pick to trade for Jimmy G and then win, 3 or 4 games in November, December? In your final 10 games of the year, you go, 4-6 instead of bottoming out and having 2-3 wins on the year, and then you're picking in the top 4. The logic just doesn't add up. I would be floored if Jimmy Garoppolo is a New York Jet via trade this year. Floored. Plus, they already have other backup options that if you really wanted to pull the plug on Zach this year, if it was that bad, you could start Mike White. You could start Joe Flacco even. And I know Flacco's not the quarterback that he was in Baltimore all those years ago, but there were times over the last couple of years where Joe Flacco's came in and looked okay. Not good, but fine. You could stumble down the stretch and then, figure out what your real plan in 2023 is, if need be, with either Mike White or Joe Flacco playing quarterback in the second half of the season. Why are you trading for Jimmy Garoppolo? Don't do that. But Joe Douglas, I think Joe Douglas is a lot smarter than that. But in case he isn't, and Joe Douglas, we know that you're listening. And if you are listening, good sir, please don't trade for Jimmy G. That doesn't make any sense. So that's it. Those are the two main storylines from this week, or from earlier, that I still can't get over the Zach Wilson one. And just, if you weren't on Twitter yesterday, I really feel bad for you, because it was as fun of a Jets Twitter day as we've had in a very, very long time. Everyone was getting their jokes off, and you know what? Good for Zach. That's all I have to say on it. Let's get into your voicemails. First up is Travis. He's calling in from Ohio, and he wants to get into Joe Douglas.
Hey, Matt.
What's up, dude?
Travis from Ohio. Hey, buddy. I know it's super slow as hell. Just wanted to see what's your take on what you think is the worst Joe Douglas contract. Because I'm a huge fan. I don't think he's overpaid for anybody. But there's a couple, 1-year swings and misses, like your Gerard Davis's, your Brashad Perryman, that didn't really hurt us, especially when we had cap room, that, we could throw FU money at it to try to throw poop against the ball and try to make it stay. And of course they didn't. And it was a mess. I mean, as big a fan of Joe as I am, I can admit that. But what are the biggest contracts, or the worst contracts, that you think he signed? Because I don't see Le'Veon Bell, Neil O'Donnell, or who was the stupid cornerback out of Tennessee that we ever paid for. I'm trying to block him out of my mind totally. So, anyhow, what do you think Joe Douglas's worst contract is? And if we can't come up with a massive one, then I think he's doing a hell of a job. So, just like you, buddy, you're doing a hell of a job. Stay healthy. Go Jets. Bye. Love you.
Love you, buddy. Thank you so much for calling in, Travis. Good question. I had to really think about it. And you're right. There were some whiffs in the free agency, but thankfully they were 1-year deals. It was Gerard Davis. It was trying to replace Robbie Anderson with Brashad Perryman. He admitted that was a mistake. It was trying to put a patchwork. Was it Ryan Khalil? I always forget. Matt or Ryan. I always mix up their first names. The center that he tried to bring in here. And I got it. Like it made sense, the swing. I understand what they were trying to do. It just didn't work out, and that's okay. On a contract that's actually like he's given someone term to, maybe Corey Davis, and I don't even think it's that bad. Especially if he comes back and plays. It was a 3-year, $37.5 million contract, which that's an AAV of $12.5 million. It's probably a little bit rich for what he is. He was coming off a good year, but this is a guy, he's a very good number 2 receiver. And I guess theoretically they paid him like a good number 2 receiver, but it just kind of felt like a lot of money. He was coming off 984 yards and 5 touchdowns, but before that, 601, 891, and then 375 as a rookie. He had 492 in 9 games. Pace that out over a full season. So let's do 54.7, which is how many yards per game over 17. Is 929 yards. Again, it's not awful. I think it's a little bit recency bias there, even with just the drops and the injury last year. You could maybe even say Carl Lawson because he didn't play, but I personally I think Carl Lawson, number 1, was definitely worth the money, and I think he's going to come back and bounce back and be very good for this team. And again, neither of those contracts, and whichever answer you want to go with, is a catastrophic answer. It's not like, there are no backbreaking contracts right now. For me, the biggest gripe with Joe Douglas in free agency is getting guys with impact. And I think that changes. I think Corey Davis comes back and is impactful. I definitely think Carl Lawson's going to be impactful. And I sure as hell hope DJ Reed and Jordan Whitehead impact that defense. I think they do. I think Lincoln Tomlinson should really be impactful. So I think we'll see, that narrative begin to change a little bit. Based off, the two marquee guys got hurt last year and played one didn't play a single snap in the regular season. The other one played half the season. So it's hard to kill him on either of those. But if I had to pick one, I guess his worst contract is Corey Davis, and that's not even that bad. Last one, just 2 calls today, but we have to go to Ben in New Jersey. He is back. Thank you, Ben, for checking back in with us, and he has some thoughts on the Zach Wilson drama.
What's up, Matt? It's Ben from Jersey. It's been a while since I called in. I think it's been about 2.5 months. I think I last called around the draft in late April. So first of all, how you doing, man? It's been a minute. And second of all, Zach Wilson is my effing quarterback, man. This whole thing with Abby Gile and Dax Milne and him banging his mom's best friend, that's my quarterback right there. Sam Darnold got mono, Zach Wilson got milk. So, yeah, it's something that I needed this weekend. It was really funny stuff. I'm just happy this didn't come out in September and it's only July still. But, hey, this means Zach Wilson is about to win MVP, throw 50 touchdowns. And we're winning the Super Bowl this year.
Let's go.
But in all seriousness, this is my real question. How do you feel right now about Mekhi Becton? I know this is a big topic of the offseason, and we see all the work he's been putting in on Instagram, and we see all these videos of him working out like a maniac. He's got the new nutritionist. But you still have guys like Connor Hughes saying that he still weighs over 400 pounds, and the Jets staff is frustrated with him. I'm just curious if you really believe these reports that he's still that overweight, because I don't know if I do. I see the work this guy's been putting in, and I think he's hungry to start. I think he's hungry to prove everyone wrong this season and show that he could still play tackle at a high level. And all Jets fans want to see that. He had a Pro Bowl caliber rookie year, and we had a lot of excitement for him last year, but obviously the injury really messed things up. And I was always a Becton supporter. It still annoys me that people say we should have taken Tristan Wirfs over him. But I just wanted to ask how you feel about Mekhi Becton, and if he is healthy and his weight is under control, do you think he can be that Pro Bowl caliber tackle this coming season? Because if he is, that would be a huge step for our offense, and it would just add another piece to our Great Wall of New York that we're looking to build over here. So that's all I have for today. Let me know your thoughts. And as always, go Jets.
Yeah, Ben, I think you're spot on. I appreciate it as always, my friend. Good to hear back from you. We'll start on the Zach Wilson stuff just because while you were talking there, someone sent me another tweet and it was Elijah Moore joining in on it. So we had Mekhi Becton doing the "That's my quarterback" gif. And then you have Elijah Moore quote tweeting Chad Johnson. And Chad Johnson said, "Zach Wilson is the GOAT." Sorry, it wasn't Zach Wilson's a legend. It was Zach Wilson is the GOAT. And Elijah Moore quote tweets it and says, "No cap." And then he follows that tweet up and he says, "Give Twitter an inch and you'll take a mile." It was a fun day. We were having a good time on the Bird app today. That's allowed to happen. We're allowed to have some fun in the offseason here. It was good. And you know what? I think Zach Wilson tried to supposedly Jack McGuire or whatever McGuire from Barstool. Forgive me. I think it's Jack. Yeah, it is Jack McGuire. Supposedly Zach Wilson DM'd him and asked him to take the video down. Where it was like he did a video. If you saw on my Instagram or TikTok, it was a very similar video to what I did, kind of just running through what the actual story was. And Zach asked him to take it down, and he did. He said that it was going to go viral, which it did. But I think Zach was expecting a very different response because everyone's on Zach's side here. Not a single person is like, "Oh my God, Zach's the villain or the bad guy here." Everyone's like, "Oh, okay, yeah, Zach's moved on and he's single and he did something potentially really cool." So good for Zach Wilson. I hope he throws for 40 touchdowns this year. I hope it translates on the field. So that's going to do it for me today on this episode. Again, a little bit of a quick guy, but quick turnaround. Wanted to get something out last week on the week of the 4th. I took some time off, as you guys know. Back on a Monday, like usual, and we're going to ride out on Mondays until the season starts and then switching right over to Wednesday. So thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. Appreciate all the love and support. This is Just Jets. Make sure to subscribe wherever you get the show. I'll talk to you next time.